Hello, wonderful families. I hope this finds you all happy and healthy. Things are good in our neck of the woods here, but I certainly do miss working with our all-stars, and I hope we can get back together soon. But today I want to just take a minute to talk about establishing a routine and using a visual schedule at home. I've been hearing from a few families that it's been a little bit tough to get into a rhythm and get some work done. So I wanted to share this technique that we use in the classroom that's really shown some great results over the year, and hopefully that can happen at home too. So one of the things that we always have to think about is, and really consider in the classroom, is that the energy that we have to learn is not an endless resource, right? So what we have to do is we have to try to be as proactive as we can to make sure that energy is reserved for tasks that we want to do, instead of being used up on things like worrying about the unknown or not knowing what's coming up next. So one of the things that we do is we establish a routine that we can kind of practice every day and build that comfort level. And along with that, to build that structure, we have a visual schedule that we can reference and look at, so we know what's coming up next, and that really helps us out. So I've sent everybody a template of a modified schedule that to use at home that is similar to the schedule that we use in the classroom, okay? And, and keep in mind, this is just a suggested template, okay? Nothing mandatory, and I am more than happy to work with you guys to customize it to whatever your wants and needs are. I know I've said this in previous emails, and I can't stress this enough. We will make of this time what we can make of it. And so if this is a tool that works for you, that's fantastic. If not, let's get together and we'll figure out something together and find something that does. So going on to this schedule, and hopefully it's going to be coming up in the video now, if I could figure that out. One thing you'll notice about this schedule is that there's no times on it, okay? And that is purposeful. The students in our classroom are all more task-oriented than time-oriented, all right? So that means that what motivates them and what's most important to them is the task itself, not how many minutes it takes or what hour and minute of the day it happens. Now, we adults, we keep a general idea of what marks we want to hit and when we want to hit them, okay? So, like, for instance, in our classroom, reading and writing block happens every day at about 10 a.m., and I try to have each rotation be about 20 minutes, so we hit our next thing at 11 o'clock. Now, since the student side of the schedule is task-oriented, if we don't hit those specific times, it's not the end of the world. But we still have the structure of the visual schedule that provides the feeling of comfort that we're looking for. And while we're here, there are two things to do throughout the day to keep things moving around smoothly. One is to periodically check the schedule throughout the day, and also another one is to give task-oriented notices for transitioning from one thing to the next. All right, so having regular times within the schedule where you preview what's coming up and check off what you've already done helps establish the routine and chunks it up so into like more easier to swallow bites, so to say. For instance, early in the morning, we usually do a rundown of the schedule up until lunch, and then after lunch we check it again, reviewing what we already did and saying that each of those tasks are all done, and then previewing the upcoming second half of our day. And of course, students can reference their own schedule throughout the day as much as they need to. One of the big challenges we face can come up with transitioning from one task to the next. So to help with transitioning, we like to prepare for the transition by giving verbal notices that we're about what we're about to do, what's next, using task-oriented language over time-oriented language. For instance, if towards the end of an iReady reading session, we said, okay, dance party is starting in 5 minutes, that's more of a time-oriented notice. So while it gives them notice for what's coming up next, for the kids that are more task-oriented, the whole idea of 5 minutes is a little bit too abstract and doesn't really have much meaning. But if we said, okay, dance party is starting in 5 minutes, so finish up the lesson you're on and put your computer away, that gives a more concrete idea of what the expectation is and what's coming up next. So that just about wraps it up for this video. I hope this helps, and there will be more to come. Remember, like most things, it takes time and patience to establish these routines and to build that feeling of comfort, not just for the kids, but for all of us. So please never hesitate to contact me if there's anything that I can clarify or anything else that I can help with. Again, I hope this all finds you well. That's the end for today, but I hope you all stay safe and happy. Bye for now.